From the New York City area, welcome to the Badass Counseling Show, where the master badass himself, Sven Erlandson, takes you deep and gives balm for the soul, baby.
Hello, big world. Hello. It's great to have you here. This is the Badass Counseling Show podcast, and this is a lightning round of said podcast. I am said podcaster, Sven Erlandson, the Badass Counselor. And whether you are tuning in from Colorado or Australia, whether you are in from Massachusetts or Lodi, California, it's delightful to have you here. I'm so pleased you have joined us. And we are here to take your questions. And by we, I mean my team and me. My team consists of Sophia, the artist who is in absentia today. And often in absentia, but when she is in sentia, parenthetically, the Latin absentia, ab means away. So sentia technically would be somewhat oddly, queerly accurate.
You got abs too.
Oh, yeah. How about them apples? Abs and apples. And KC is over in the booth groaning at all of this nonsensory. And Rob the Rocket is next to me saying things. Rob, what say ye?
You know, I'm dating now, Sven. And, in the old days, you used to make mixtapes.
Yeah.
You'd pick appropriate songs,
For sure.
put them on a cassette.
Oh, yeah.
And then send it to the person you're dating.
Yeah.
Then later on, you could make a mixed CD if you had a CD burner.
Yeah,
that
if you
was
knew how to
advanced,
burn a
right?
CD, yeah.
Yeah, but you can't do that anymore because nobody has those players. Now you have to send the YouTube clip of the song, and it's not the same.
Or, well, wait a minute.
Give me an idea. I need help here.
Now, see, this is interesting because Rob's a sound guy. Can you actually turn up the sound of my ears here, Rob?
Yes.
Rob's a sound guy. There it is. And I get to give Rob a tip. You can create a playlist on like Spotify or Pandora and send him a playlist.
I do understand that, and that's a very good point. Thank you.
All right, I do know a thing or two.
Or three.
All right, we've got questions coming in here. I've got Chelsea asking, first question of the day. They're on TikTok. Chelsea asks, how do you feel about counselors offering their own personal history with clients when it connects? I am actually a giant fan of this a little bit. I am. In fact, I believe that if you can't, so many therapists are taught and believe you never interject your own self into it. I think that's shite, absolute shite. And I come out of I'm of course former clergyman, and I believe that great counseling and great preaching is based on the clergy person having wrestled with the very issues that they're preaching on, that it comes from a personal wrestling and wrangling and struggle with. And from my own personal struggles, I found these insights, I found these questions. I have this new piece that I bring to you, and I offer up my own life and my own failures and insights that I've had in your service. And I think good therapy is the same thing. However, I have had therapists who never shut the fuck up. It's just like, dude, I ain't fucking paying you to have you fucking yammer on. Now, in my case, generally, I always throw extra time in, not always, but often throw extra time on with clients, especially ones that I like. And by like, I mean they're doing the work out of session. Anybody who's investing more in the process, I want to invest more into. Anybody who's a good disciple of the work, in other words, they're trying to do more, I want to give more too. So in those cases where I know I'm giving more, there's always value add, as they talk about in business. Where I'm giving value add, then I have no problems adding a few stories of my own. And I find that's very instructive. So I will use stories of failures or struggles that my girlfriend and I have in our relationship, or successes, or things that my parents did right, or things that I did wrong in my own parenting. Okay, I definitely include those as a point of reference and as a point of hope or inspiration that, they're doing better than I did at their age or whatever it might be. So I'm a big fan of that, but not excessively, because in most counseling settings, you have to understand with my clients, first session is 6 or 7 hours. Okay, so it's a different thing. But and follow-up sessions are between 2 and 4 hours. So it's a different animal. Whereas most counseling that most people are in is what? 50 minutes. Well, It's not a lot of time there. If I were stuck in a 50-minute session as a therapist, if that was my fucking device that I had used, I'd be just drilling down as much as I could into the client with the occasional peppering in of something that may help them. But if you got a therapist who's talking too much, get the fuck out. They're wasting your fucking time. All right, next question. Nancy Fancy asked this question. I'm going through an awakening. The pain is so intense, I'm unable to breathe. Is it a day-by-day thing? Nancy, what's happening is, yes, you're going through an awakening. That means a lot of pain, a lot of fears, a lot of your own shit is coming up. But you have to give it, it's not enough to bring it up. There has to be an out. You need to be fucking journaling, dude. I mean, you need to be writing letters you don't send. That's how we get it out. You bring it up using that journaling, but you also have to get it out. Otherwise, yes, all that pain just churns and churns inside. You have to be flushing it out, flushing it out. Your journal should become your fucking best fucking friend. All right, next question. Alia asked the question, counselor of what? I am not a psychologist, people. I paste it all over my page. You guys have heard me say it a million times. I'm not a psychologist. I have nothing to do with psychology or that sort of thing. I am a former clergyman. All I deal with is soul counseling. What does that mean? It means your relationship with your own self. I don't deal with God shit. If people want to talk God because that's their language, I can do that. I'm fluent in that in multiple varieties of pretty much all religions. Living religions. I can talk that shit, but that's not what it's about. It's about your relationship with your own self. I generally go deeper than psychology. And so it's just a different fucking experience. And someone over here says, oh my God, 6-hour sessions, 7-hour sessions. How do you do that? Most people say, Sven, I couldn't sit still for 6 hours. I can't do a 6 or 7 hour session. And I say, quite frankly, I don't give a shit what you think you can do. If you're going to be my client, this is how I roll. And trust me when I tell you, you're going to come to the end of 6 or 7 hours and you're going to be like, holy fuck, where did the time go? Do you want to know why? Because you've been waiting your entire life. If you've got pain, if you're even on this fucking podcast listening to this shit, you're here because you got fucking pain and fears and bullshit beliefs inside of you that you have not been able to unravel, unspool, and they've been tearing up your life, shredding you. You've been waiting your entire life to have deep fucking conversations to figure out your fucking life. And if you were to finally meet somebody who knew exactly where to fucking take you, every minute, every hour would feel like a minute. And you would be so fucking there because it's talking about you. This isn't talking about the fucking owner's manual on your fucking air conditioner. All right? This is talking about you and every story and every moment and every thought and every feeling. And it's ugly and it's hard and it's scary as fuck. And it's fucking painful, but it's also relieving and it's terrifying. It's all of these things. 6 or 7 hours, you have no idea how quickly it goes, but more importantly, how profoundly beneficial it can be if you have the courage to keep opening and keep opening to the truth. But so many people don't want to see the fucking truth. All right, next question. Swede 626 asks, what's the best way to deal with a person with borderline personality disorder whom is spiraling? I do not answer questions that have anything to do, that have any sort of psychological notations or diagnoses in them. Why? I stay in my fucking lane. I am not a psychologist. If you want to state that question with something that does not use psychological diseases or maladies terminology, I'd be happy to answer the question, but I do not touch psychology, all right? I do not want to offend the pros in their field. That would be like someone coming over to soul counseling and attempting to speak on my shit, and they do regularly. All right, so next question. All right. Vanessa says, I've had 3-hour sessions and it felt like 10 minutes. 6 hours would be amazing. Yeah, it is. All right, next question. How do you get over your fear of divorcing? Insecurity and financially and the kids. How do you get over your fear of divorcing with regard to insecurity and financially and the kids? Ultimately, the fear of divorcing, first of all, is it the fear of divorcing or the fear of being divorced? Well, the insecurities, in other words, is likely what would it be like not having someone? Financially, it's not divorcing, it's being divorced. Right? And how am I going to do it financially? So it's not divorcing, the process of getting the divorce. It's the actual being divorced. And regarding the kids, that would be the divorcing process and dropping that fucking bomb on their lap that the two people they love the most in the world don't want to be together anymore. That will fucking destroy them temporarily. But kids recover if they are given a company of love surrounding them and walking them through the process. But then it's also them being growing up in a divorced home. So it's both with regard to that. But ultimately, and so it's not necessarily the divorcing process, I'm guessing, that you're most afraid of. It's being divorced and all that goes with it, right? But that's not what you ask. You ask, how do you get over the fear of it? Well, the ultimate thing that gets you over the fear of divorcing and being divorced is pain. Change will not occur until the pain gets bad enough. I talk about that in my book, There's a Hole in My Love Cup. In fact, that's the constant refrain. And you may say, May, who wrote this question, may say, May say, oh, that's just fun to say. It's fun to say, may say. May say that I've had a lot of pain. She's had a lot of pain. But the truth is, May, if you still are not over the fear, your pain hasn't gotten bad enough yet. Because what happens is the pain will get so great that it'll wash away that fear, or the fear will still be there, but you'll be like, fuck it, I don't even fucking care anymore. I don't even fucking care. I got to do this. This pain of this sucks so bad. And the truth is, you'll figure out the finances. Maybe you'll have to lower your standard of living, which blows, but you'll do it. And yeah, you will have insecurities, but the bottom line is you got to flush that shit out with your therapist or with journaling or writing letters you don't send and doing the work on your own self to discern from your past where those fucking insecurities came from, because they always come from your past, and beginning to flush that out. And then regarding your kids, yeah, you're going to have to work on getting out of you all of the pain and anxieties and fears regarding your kids and all the guilt, right? The guilt. And you get all that shit out. But in the end, the thing that's going to take you over that fear and through that fear of divorcing is all your own pain of living this way and seeing the damage that it's doing to your kids of having two parents together who don't love each other. So your kids are growing up in an unloving home, which is toxic by nature. And you think, well, no, it's not toxic. What if those two parents get along? I don't care. I don't care if they get along. That's not the point. Long term, it's toxic for the kids. Well, how the fuck can that be? Because children growing up in an unloving home are being taught that this is what love is. Therefore, they will replicate this relationship into their 40s, 50s, and 60s, or they will create a relationship very similar to this because this is what they were taught that love is. Love is just this cool as a cucumber thing. It's not really real. It's not really passionate, or it comes with arguing, or this is what love is. So they will recreate this. And as a result, they will never know what love is. And worse, they'll never know why. So the question you have to ask yourself, if you are in a relationship that is unloving, but you claim you're staying together for the kids, and May, I'm sort of going off your point here. I'm making a separate point now. But if you claim you're staying together for the kids, we're going to wait till they're 18, bad fucking idea. If you already know you're going to get a divorce, you're just waiting until they're 18, it's a horrible idea because you're fundamentally teaching your children that this is what love is. So it doesn't matter what your mouth says later once they're 18. Now, they're learning 18 years of this is what love is. Furthermore, they have a far better shot of healing and adjusting now as a child when they're surrounded by a company of love, especially if you're doing the healing work on your own self. But they have the stability of parents who love them, of teachers and school and friends, all these established, stable rituals. Whereas when they're 18, maybe they go off to college. Maybe they start a job and start having new friends, but everything's new. And all they've got are their knucklehead friends at school to support them. Really? And you're going to drop that fucking bomb when they don't have a support system in place? Furthermore, an 18-year-old or a 22-year-old or a 25-year-old is far more likely to do what? Stuff their feelings down. They're far less likely to express it. They're far less likely to get it out of their system. And you think, well, my kid's doing fine. They're not showing any signs that the divorce bothered them. And that's the problem. See, that young kid is more likely to cry and get angry and sob and rage. You want that. Why? Because they're bringing up their feelings and they're trying to get them out. That is a mark of healing. That is part of the process. And if you facilitate that process, you can help that child feel sooner. But at 18 or at 24, the kid is far less likely to do it. They're far less likely to be chewed up by it, but stuff it down and say, oh, it's no big deal, and power through. Oh, feelings are no big fucking deal. Bad idea, because that shit will destroy your fucking relationships when you're married and you're 33, or it'll come back and bite you in the ass when you're 47, right? All right, so how do you get over the fear of divorcing, May? Just wait till your pain gets bad enough, because this shit isn't going to magically heal itself. It's only going to get worse. Your pain is going to get so bad that one day it's just going to be like, I know it's time. I know it's time. But in terms of fear, more specifically, yeah, you can start journaling on your fears. What am I most afraid of? Journal about that. What's the scariest part? Journal about that. And then also journal about what happens if that fear comes true. You know, if you have to live poor or live with less for 5 years, okay, you're going to put a gun to your mouth and blow your fucking brains out? Are you? Probably not, right? Oh, so life goes on. So even if your worst fear comes to pass, life goes on. And if life goes on, then you've got to figure out a way to be happy and start to rebuild life. So even if your worst fears come true, you're going to rebuild life. You're going to start building over and start trying to create happiness. All right, next question. We're going to take a few more here, but before we do, I want to take a moment for a quick break to tell you about Community Plus. We have a free group on Facebook. It's called the Badass Counseling Group. It's a support group. Very simply put, there are 45,000 members growing at the rate of about 1,000 or 2,000 a week. All right. It's a great group. It's free. It doesn't cost you a fucking thing. Just like the podcast. I counsel people and I take listener questions on the air. And it's totally free. And you can use this in conjunction with your own journaling and letter writing to heal. And a lot of people do. I charge people exorbitant rates for counseling so that I can do tons of free shit. I have like 1,500, 1,600 free videos on social media and the free podcast and the free group. All right. Why? To give free shit to people so they can heal themselves. I believe in self-help. I believe you don't have to have therapy. Therapy can help, but you don't have to have it. I got myself out of a 12-year suicidal depression. All right. You can heal yourself. But if a group of 45,000 doesn't exactly sound like it's going to fit the bill for you, we have a much more intimate group that is fee-based. It's not cheap, but what it gets you is you've got fellow people who have all read the book or are reading the book. There's a Hole in My Love Cup, which is about 70% of my counseling method in one book. So these are people operating at a higher level, committed to their own healing and growth. You get free access to me with the subscription, with your fee every month. You get free access to me twice a month, guaranteed. You get, we have drawings every month for free small group counseling with me, drawings every month for one-on-one counseling with me. You get priority pass access to come on the show if you want to come on the show and be considered to come on the show and counsel with me. Priority pass access to jump to the head of the waiting list if you want to buy counseling sessions with me. You get free do-it-yourself video courses, all sorts of shit. So check it out on the website, Community Plus.
This show provides soul counseling intended to entertain and inform and is not medical advice. Now, back to the badass.
We are back with the Badass Counseling Show. Lightning round. Luminora asks the question, how do you move past the anger and resentment of a traumatic childhood? You don't move past it, Luminora. You move through it. The Sufi poet Rumi said, the cure for the pain is in the pain. And what that means is, and what that resentment of your past, Luminora, is the result of pain. And all the pain and all the fucking rage and anger and sorrow and sadness and hurt has to be gone into and flushed out of you. That means the best, smartest thing you can do is get yourself pen and paper and start journaling about it and start writing down all the feelings, all the I hate yous, all the fuck yous, all the I'm so sad. And all I ever wanted was to be loved by you. And why didn't you do it? And I was crying out to be seen and you didn't see me, and you never wanted to spend time with me, and it just hurt my heart so badly. All I wanted, it's like I just kept saying to you, just be nice to me, just be nice to me. And you kept telling me by your actions, by your avoiding me, that I didn't have any worth, and I've grown my whole life believing I don't have any worth. Just flush. Just keep flushing about all you longed for, all the feelings you wanted, and all the love that you wanted them to give. And all the rage, fuck you, God, you suck so bad, you worthless piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. All of it. Keep flushing. Keep bringing it up and flushing it out. Up and out. Up and out. That's how. You make a bullet point list of all the traumatic experiences, any experience that you have from your childhood that has any memory that has any sort of emotional charge attached to it. Any memory with any emotional charge attached to it. Bullet point list every single memory that you have that has an emotional charge. And next to that memory, write what the emotional charge is. Maybe there's one emotional charge. Maybe it's just sadness. Maybe there's 7. sadness, disappointment, rage, betrayal. I felt really frustrated in that moment, and I felt really afraid. All right, next to that bullet point, list those 5 different feelings. Do that for every single memory that you have that has an emotional charge next to it. And then journal about then go through and start journaling about each one. Now, this could take months. And you think, well, Sven, shit, I'd be writing forever. No, you won't be writing forever. You might be writing for several months. And you keep doing it. And you're going to have new ones come up. Do you really want to heal? Because this is the price. This is the fucking price. And I'm going to tell you that this process works. How do I know? Because I got myself out of a 12-year fucking suicidal depression. I know this process fucking works. Question is, how bad do you want it? Do you want it bad enough to do the fucking work? Either you do or you don't. And if you don't want to do it, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want it, this is the price. And I'm telling you, you have never known fucking aliveness. You have never known authenticity. You've never known power. You've never known peace. To finally have that internal motor slow the fuck down until you've done this. All right. Knights of the Round Table ask the question, what is your highest form of love from a parent to a child? What is the highest form of love from a parent to a child? To be present, to listen, and not try to fix. Here's a good one. What is the highest form of love? There's several things, but to when that child is 35 and they come back and they say, you hurt me. Or when that child is 24 and they say, you did this and this and it hurt my feelings. And you as the parent say, wow, you're right. I need to think about that. I believe you. I don't remember that particular thing, but I believe you. And I really need to weigh that. And I am so sorry. And there's no excuse for that. Some of you may recall, I've told the story of when my siblings and I were in our 20s, early 30s. Each of our parents came to each of us kids separately. And they told us each, I remember going on a walk one particular walk with my father, and I remember having multiple conversations with mom and separately with dad, and where they said, I know that I did X, Y, and Z to hurt you, Sven. I know I did X, Y, and Z to undermine you or to get in your way or whatever, frustrate you or whatever. And I want to apologize for that. There's no excuse for that, et cetera, et cetera. To use the language I talk about in my book, There's a Hole in My Love Cup, they fundamentally came to each one of us and they basically said, this is my language, not theirs. I put rocks in the burlap sack on your back, rocks of pain, frustration, anger, sadness, and I want those rocks back. I don't want you having to carry around in life rocks that I put in the burlap sack on your back. Interestingly, when my mother was in her 80s, she came to each of us kids again and to each of our spouses and did it again. If there are rocks in your backpack that I put there in that big burlap sack, even if they're small ones, I want them back. I don't want you having to carry pain or frustrations or anger or sorrow that I put there. And then one more time in her 93rd year of life, when she knew she would be dying soon, she came to each one of us again and said, anything that I have caused to hurt you, to disappoint you, to frustrate you, to sadden you, please tell me, so that you do not have it with you when I pass away. You ask the question, what is your highest form of love from a parent to the child? It's that you forever take on that responsibility of taking any rocks that you have put in that burlap sack on your child's back, on your adult child's back, on your 60-year-old child's back. You take those rocks out. Sounds like a pretty nice form of love. And I know a whole lot of people who would give their left testicle to get that gift from their parent. All right, next question. Oh, this is a good one. Hephaestus says, what if I don't want to forgive my parents? Foster care, age 8, reunited at 24. Forgiveness? Who the fuck's talking about forgiveness? Anybody who listens to my show, anybody who has read my work knows that I am not selling forgiveness. I am a former clergyman who is not in the business of selling forgiveness. How odd. In fact, when I was writing my book, Badass Wisdom, I tried to find quotes because I wanted to write, this is a 366-day daily inspirational book. So there's one for each day, right? And I was trying to find different quotes. I start with a quote, then I give a little sort of anecdote, and then I follow with journaling questions for each day. And I tried to find a quote from someone on forgiveness that aligned with my thinking on forgiveness. Even to Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, no one has a quote that aligned with my views on forgiveness. No one. What's my view on forgiveness? I don't care if you forgive or not. If you want to forgive, forgive. God bless you. Fucking hell, why not? Go for it. All I ask is that you wait. Well, what do you mean by that, Sven? Nowhere does it say you have to forgive right now. Right now. You got to forgive right now. Right now. No. Just wait. You want to know why? Because I find that the people who are rushing to forgiveness often end up coming back to me 6 months later or a year and a half later, and they say, but I forgave. Why am I still upset at this person? Or why am I still sad? Or why am I still angry? Because you didn't get the fucking feelings out. People think that forgiveness is this panacea, that it's this cure-all. It doesn't cure all. People say, well, you don't forgive for the other person, you forgive for yourself. No, you don't. You think it does, and it feels good for a while, but the bottom line is, what happened, if there's a need for forgiveness, forgiveness implies a breach. Okay, so you've got a relationship between two people, okay? Then something happened that it created a breach, a fissure, a canyon, a crevasse in the relationship, right? And so now you're being told, well, you should forgive this person, and if you forgive this person, it'll repair the breach, okay? Well, all forgiveness does is it tells this other person, okay, what you did, I forgive you, and you're off the hook. So they are now removed of culpability. So they feel good. And now the relationship is repaired, but I don't feel good. Why do I not feel good? Because I never got my pain out of me, my sadness, my anger. And I don't mean you have to get it out at the person. I just was never allowed to, or I was never taught. I never even thought it existed. I didn't know it was okay. I didn't get my feelings out. Which means they're still in. And so the truth is, even if you're repairing the relationship, you're really not, because you haven't really healed you. So this is why I say, if you want to let the other person off the hook, fine. But you are not really healing you. Even when they say, oh, do it for yourself, you're not doing it for yourself. What you have to do for yourself is get your feelings of pain, sadness, frustration, anger, whatever it is you're feeling, out of you. Then talk about forgiveness. Then if you want to repair the relationship, go for it. Knock yourself out. Forgive. Forgive till the cows come home. If you don't want to forgive, don't forgive. Who gives a fuck? But the bottom line is, forgiveness is ancillary to healing your own soul. And forgiveness does not cause healing of your own soul. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. All right? You can still forgive. I'm not saying you can't forgive or shouldn't forgive. I'm just saying you got to fucking heal your shit first. And you do that by what? By talking it out with your favorite aunt or with your therapist, or, fucking journaling it out, writing letters to the person, getting it out, flushing it out until all of your pain, your sadness, your rage, your frustration, your disappointment, your melancholy, your pride, your betrayal, all that is out of you. Then you come to a place of calm. And then if you want to forgive, great, go for it. If you realize, I don't need to, I can move on with my life. Then forgiveness becomes clear versus forced. All right. Brian Hudson, hey, Brian, asked the question, why would mom and dad send a child to grandpa when they feel they lost control? Grandpa is also toxic. Well, there are two paths we can go here, the benefit of the doubt path and the not benefit of the doubt path. So let's take door number one first. Why would mom and dad send a child to grandpa when they feel they lost control? They needed help, they needed relief, and they realized they were harming the child. My girlfriend got a piece of advice from her mother when my girlfriend had her first child, and her mother said, there are going to be times when you lose your shit with this baby. Put the baby in the crib, make sure the baby is safe, pull up the sides of the crib, and walk out of the house. Now, my girlfriend grew up in the Bronx. Okay? Walk out of the house. If you need to go for a 10-minute walk around the block, go for a 10-minute walk around the block. If you need to just go outside and fucking breathe, go outside and fucking breathe. Okay? But get away from that baby. If you are about to lose your shit or lose your shit on the baby, make sure the baby is safe and get out. That protects the baby and it protects you from doing shit you're going to regret. So it could be that was what was happening there, Brian. Okay? That they realized they were losing their shit, and if we get, door number one is benefit of the doubt. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Hey, they just thought it would be a good thing. Now, you add that little extra thing. They say, why would mom and dad send a child to grandpa when they feel they lost control? Grandpa was also toxic. So door number one is, they thought it would be good for the child to get out because they knew they were losing their shit and so forth. But if they knew grandpa was toxic, then door number two is potentially they didn't fucking care. We just don't want to fucking deal. We got our own fucking problems. Let's pawn the boy off on grandpa. And yeah, grandpa's toxic, but the boy will be fine. And remember, folks, even 20 years ago, even 30 years ago, 25 years ago, well, even still today, fuck it, the kid will be fine. Kid will be fine. No, he's fine. He's fine. So it could very well be that they just didn't give a shit. They didn't want to fucking deal with you. That they were that fucking calloused and cold. Okay. This is from Paul K. on TikTok. Please explain why adult sons won't include the non-custodial dad in their lives. There are any number of options here, any number of explanations. Paul, I'm going to assume that you are the non-custodial dad in their lives. My first questions would be, one, how long has the non-custodial dad been in their lives? Two, what were the circumstances under which non-custodial dad came into their lives? Three, how do they perceive non-custodial dad, right? Bottom line is non-custodial dad is feeling unloved, unwanted, left out, and that hurts. And if this is, in fact, you, Paul, it hurts. It hurts. I've been in similar situations, not quite that bad, but I've been in similar situations. And it hurts your feelings. It makes you feel unloved and unwanted. And the bottom line is all you can do is just keep trying to bring love and keep being loving towards their mother. But here's the problem. The problem is it could be that they are actually not, one of the possible options, they're actually not mad at you, but mad at their mother. Why? Because what often happens, too often happens, and it happens so easily, is when a parent brings in a step parent or brings in a new lover or a new spouse, is that the parent basically builds the relationship with a new spouse at the expense of the children. The children feel like they are getting less love. And it's not that children are inherently unreasonable and think that their parents should get no love or have no relationship with their mom's or dad's new spouse or new lover. It's just that they feel that they are getting less. And as a result, they build up resentment. But here's the thing. Why would they have resentment towards you? Technically, you didn't do it. Mom was giving them less love. But guess what? It's safe for them to dislike you. It's not safe for them to dislike mom. Why? It's my mom. You can't be mad at your mom. But also, what are they still wanting from their mom? Love. Love. So if I get mad at mom, I may not get the love I want. So it's easier to be mad at you, but really I'm mad at mom. Because she didn't give me the love. She gave it to you. So fuck you. I'm going to hate on you. It's like when somebody cheats and the person who got cheated on, I've been cheated on before by a spouse, two actually, and you cheated on and you hate the person they cheated with, but you don't really have as much hate for the person for your spouse who cheated. Why? Because it's easy to hate the person they cheated with, but you still have feelings of love and longing for your spouse. And you fear that if you actually unleash all your feelings of hatred on the one who cheated, that you may lose them. When in fact, the person who cheated on you is the one you would have the most anger towards, because they're the one who breached the contract that you had with them. So I would be willing to bet that the adult sons have rage that they can't admit or maybe don't even see towards their own mother, but they're taking it out on you. And in the end, Paul, all you can do is flesh out your own feelings of sadness and feeling left out and feeling sad, and keep fleshing out your own feelings. And at some point you have to go on with your life and accept this for what it is and give love when you can. But the bottom line is, because you're feeling left out, that says you're wanting love from them. And whether you are a parent or a non-custodial parent or a step parent, children do not exist to give love to parents. Parents exist to give love to children. Parents exist to give love to children. Now, that doesn't mean you have to endure disrespect as a parent, but parents exist to pour love into the love cup of the children. The child does not exist to pour love into the love cup of the parent. Good thing to remember. Right. Yeah. So they're taking out their anger at you to avoid the confrontation with their own mother. And no, it's not everything is mom's fault. Just G123. You could invert the genders here. Please don't be that naive. Okay. You could invert the genders. I would say the same thing if it were a woman writing this, saying, why are my husband's, adult daughters shunning me? Why? Because fucking dad is spending all his time with you and not giving love to his, they're really mad at their father. It has nothing to do with fucking gender. Jesus, fuck God. Anyway, all right, let's end on a happy note here, people. I got to end on something better. Okay, Rooster says, in relationships, is it worth calling out infidelity when it's deflected, then try to validate the reason?
That's happier?
Call out infidelity. Don't tolerate infidelity, and always toe a hard line. Always, always, always be. Do not let down your standards when you come to that, because otherwise you are fundamentally saying this is okay. All right, people. This has been really interesting and delightful and super duper 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 super helpful. Wonderful. Super. Rob, what do you say at the end of this lovely session today, Roberto?
You know how you don't like to be trapped by the limitations of like an only 50-minute counseling session?
Yes.
Frequently, you don't want to be trapped by the limitations of a 60-minute podcast. But in this case, you did it.
I broke free, baby.
All right.
And I would have actually ended a few minutes sooner, but then somebody had to put that little comment in there on the gender thing. It's like, don't you get it? I'm not... All right. And
I agree. A lot of wisdom there. A lot of badass wisdom today.
Well, but people are asking great questions. Brian Hudson had a great question. A few other folks had great questions. And so that always sort of gets the old juices flowing. So, Peepel, thank you for your great questions. This episode will air on June 1st, I thought you said, Rob?
That is correct, sir.
June 1st. So this will be up on social media. Actually, it'll be up on Facebook for the next about 12 to 24 hours, but then I'll take it down, and it will air as an actual counseling episode on
Lightning round.
As a lightning round, yes. On iHeartRadio, on Apple, on Audible, and wherever you get your podcast on June 1st. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another exciting lightning round of the Badass Counseling Show. On behalf of my team, Sophia the Artist, KC in the booth, and Rob the Rocket, I'm Sven Erlinson. Have a kick-ass day.
The Badass Counseling Show is strictly copyrighted. No copies may be made without the express written consent of the Badass Counseling Show, LLC. The Badass Counseling Show is produced by Karen Camparelli and Robert H. Friedman. Executive producer Sven Erlinson. Original music by two-time Emmy Award-winning composer Trevor Morris. Have a kick-ass day.